I was talking about Croesus a little bit, and Croesus is the main king that fortified this city. So he built on top of here massive walled structures to it. You're going to recognize that name from the myth of the Midas touch. And supposedly the king is wanting to use prosperity to build the city, and supposedly one of the friends of the god, it's a god Dionysus, shows up, and he makes friends with this friend of the god and treats them really well. So as a gift, Dionysus gives him what he wants, an ability to turn anything into gold. And so he goes around and turns things into gold. And it talks about the furniture, and it talks about he tries to eat food and he can't eat food because it turns to gold. And out of the corner came his beautiful young daughter running up to him and gives him a hug and turns into gold. And now he's just saying, this is now a curse. How can you do this to me? And Dionysus says, well, if you want to get rid of the curse, go down to the river Pectolus, wash your hands in the Pectolus River, and it'll go away. So he does. He walks over, and there's a river across here, and washes his hands in it, and immediately the river now is gold ridden in the river. And the myth kind of applies to real life. The Sardis people would literally get wool skins, lay them in the Pectolus River, and flakes of gold would collect in the wool. There was that much gold in them there hills, as they would say in Arkansas. There's gold out here. And that's what made this empire with King Croesus so valuable. He was one of the most wealthiest kings that was living to do this. His right-hand man, King Croesus' right-hand man, is somebody that you will all know. You probably could just mention it because you know him so well. He was a well-known author. You would probably recognize some of his works from The Tortoise and the Hare, or The Goose That Laid the Golden Egg. Anybody know yet? The Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, The Boy Who Cried Wolf, and Aesop. Aesop of Aesop's Fables was his right-hand man and began to write these stories. All this ties together if you start understanding where these places and people are coming from. But there's an interesting story that is tied to Aesop. We're not sure in history if he actually wrote it or not, but it's one of his. It is the fisherman and his flute. And he was wanting to go get fish out of the sea and bring them back to his pond. And so he got his flute out and in his boat began to play happy music to try to convince the fish to get in his net so he can take him back to his pond. The fish refused. So he throws his net in and drags them fish out. And he says, you rascals, you wouldn't dance when I piped, but now I've stopped. You can do nothing else. Eventually, Cyrus, we'll get here later, but Cyrus is coming in to conquer Sardis, and he goes around to all the kings and asks them and says, hey, I think we can take the city. And they laugh at him and says, no, Sardis is well too fortified. You're not going to be able to do it. Spoiler, Cyrus does end up conquering the city, and he starts to go around to the other kings and conquer them. And they came to him and begged for mercy. And he says, don't look at me. I played a happy song and you didn't dance. I played a sad song and you didn't mourn. Does anybody know who else quotes that? He looks at the Pharisees and says, you're acting like kids playing out here in the market. I played a happy song. We played a pipe for you and you did not dance. We sang a dirge and you did not mourn. Is Christ using culture to speak to the audience?